Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship. It's your girl, Keisha, chiming in with another amazing episode. You already know what I'm going to ask. If you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the Upgraded Mindsets Media channel. If you're listening audio wise, then make sure you are favoriting the Woman's Hustle on your favorite streaming platform so you don't miss these episodes as they upload because season 2 has been phenomenal. And let me tell you, this episode is going to be no different. If you are having the joy of seeing my lovely face on YouTube, then you see that I'm not here by myself. So I'm going to allow my guest the honor of introducing herself. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey Keisha, how you doing? It's
I am
really very nice
well.
to meet you today, and thank you
Absolutely.
so much for having me. It's a really special for me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Please let the listeners know who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, sure, of course. So my name is Sarah Choudhary. By the day, I am a full-time working as a consulting strategical architect as well, and I design enterprise AI systems. I have spent over 20 years in this industry in technology. I hold a PhD degree in data science, and I have consulted over 150 organizations, including some of the biggest name in the business as well. I'm the Forbes Consult Technology member. My favorite topic is ethical AI and responsible AI because we are on that one. And I bootstrap three of my ventures completely on my own. No venture capital so far, no angel investment, no safety net, a rideshare program platform, and a food technology concept called iShell, and a education nonprofit platform called Talim. And that's the focused on underserved community, and I fund my own dreams through my corporate career intentionally. Honestly, that's not a kind of like a backup plan, it's more kind of like a strategy.
Oh my God. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
I absolutely love it. You said so many things just in your intro that just stood out. The fact that you are not waiting on anybody and you're not asking anybody for anything. And we'll dive
Sure.
into that a little bit more about, throughout the episode because I definitely want our ladies to understand that that's exactly what it's about. We're not waiting for permission. Okay. We're not waiting
Yep.
on those things to happen. But I'd love for you to chime in. As far as your backstory, as far as what you do by day, it's pretty detailed. Please share a little bit more, like what made you decide to get into that.
Yes. So basically, one of the thing is, as you mentioned earlier, I will going to be completely unapologetic for this. So
Mhm.
I consult, like I spent over 20 years, as I mentioned, in artificial intelligence, data, and enterprise technology. And where I identify that consulting work is not my identity. It's my most kind of like you will say fuel. Is the engine that powers everything I'm building. And I refuse to be ashamed of that because too many women are told you have to quit everything and leave, or you are not real entrepreneur. That's a lie. I'm a proof that you can keep your income and build your empire at the same time.
Exactly.
And then there's a deeper layer. I also am an author as well. My upcoming book is The Quantum Code of Wealth. I run the platform on the social media as well, and speaking in the different technology as well. So basically, Keisha, I think a lot of women, there's a moment when you look at everything you have built for other people, right? The systems, the strategies, the solutions, and you realize like you have never built anything that's truly yours. And that was my moment. That was like I was consulting for a major organization, designing great thing architecture, roadmaps, strategy, solving massive problems for others, people, companies. And I kept seeing the gaps, like in transportation, food technology, in education of our communities that nobody was investing in. And I thought I have skills, I have a mind for this. I found that gap. Why am I building everyone else's dream, not my own? So I stopped waiting, but I did it my way. I didn't walk away from my consulting income. I used it, I turned it into the rocket fuel because I understand something that the entrepreneurial word doesn't like to say out loud, but you don't have to be broke to be brave, you know? So that's where, my point is.
That's powerful. I love that you said that because when we talk about entrepreneurship, people automatically assume that everybody just wants to leave corporate America. Here's my separation. If you are not satisfied in what you're doing in corporate America, there needs to be a conversation. But
Yeah.
that's not the case for you. You love what you do in your corporate job. That is great. You are purpose driven in that. I absolutely love that. And I love how you also used your corporate job to identify the gaps for you to step
Mm,
out and do things outside of that. That is so important. I had a one of my founding business partners with UPM Business Suites. That's the exact conversation we had like 6 years ago. She's like, I'm utilizing this job to help me with, the back end marketing. I'm using it to help me
mm,
understand like the quotas and things that need to be met, because she likes, she's real big into fashion, but
mm.
she also wanted to know the back end instead of just, wearing the clothes and stuff. So it's so important for us to understand that even when you are in that corporate space, use it to fill in the gaps when it is, when you know what I'm saying, when you're trying to build the business side of things. I love it. And I'm glad that you're telling ladies you don't have to, because they do say that. Oh, you're not an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you still work.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I have my
Yes, yes.
business too. So what do you mean I'm not an entrepreneur? So
Exactly. Yeah.
absolutely. I love that you touched on that. And I'm glad that you're unapologetic about that because we have so
Mhm.
many people trying to define us in so many ways anyway. So it's really just your journey. I want to
Mm,
touch base on the capital side of things. You talked
mm,
about using your corporate job to fund the business.
mhm,
Like, you were very unapologetic in not seeking out capital, even though you were, paying for it through your
mhm.
corporate job. Why was the reasoning for you not seeking out the capital?
First of all, I wanted to build something where the vision could not be diluted. That was the
Mm,
main reason, right?
okay,
Because when you take the outside money, you take outside opinions,
that's true.
which I still do because I have a mentors. I have a group of mentors, great VCs as well, and I respected that path. I respected their, feedback as well. It works for a lot of people, but for me, the thing I am building a rideshare platform. I share Colleen, Zora. There's some other ventures that I'm CTO and co-founder, but these come from a very personal place. They come from the gaps. I have seen my own community in the lives of people I love. I was not willing to sit in a boardroom and have someone tell me that serving underserved community is not scalable enough, right? Or profitable thing or something like that. So I decided to fund it myself, which is a harder part. It's slower, but every brick is mine, right? And nobody can take that away. So that was the one of the thing. And other thing is like that when you work with the outside venture, I'm not saying it's a bad. You are like, especially when you are working with the, in the boardroom and all this
Right.
stuff. So I consult. I use my 20 plus year in AI and enterprise technology to generate the income that funds my own dreams. And again, I'm completely unapologetic about that. Like Nelson Mandela said,
Love it.
something that stays with me. Uh, you say it always seems impossible until it's done. So every venture I am building looked impossible on paper. Oh, you have no VC backing, no team of 50, just me and my consulting income and a vision that I refuse to let die. And you
Yeah.
know what do we say? One Thormaya Engels, she said, like each person deserves a day, a way in which no problems are confronted, no solutions searched for. And I love that. But honestly, I don't get those days right now. But I am
Right,
okay
right.
with that, because the season of building requires sacrifice, and I chose to sacrifice intentionally rather than sacrificing my ownership to someone else. And I will again say one more quote of Rumi, like what you seek is seeking you. And I believe the right capital, the right partner, the right investor, they will come when the foundation is so solid that nobody can shake it. And that's what I'm building right now, pretty much built. And a foundation that's mine, built with my own resources, my own sweat, my own sleepless nights. So when I do sit across from an investor one day, I won't be asking for permission. I will be offering them the privilege of joining something that was already built to last, and they can put their expertise in there. So, the answer your question directly, I'm not anti capital. I'm a pro timing. I'm a pro ownership. and I'm for building something to undeniable that when the capital does come, it comes on my terms. And it's just possible.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Everything she's saying is so true.
Mm,
I applaud you so much because you are doing what so many of us really want to do. We strive for this. We dream about these things, and you are real life walking that journey. Now, we won't sit here and say that it's an easy journey for you, right? And
mhm.
that's why we talk about the thrills and the spills, right? We
Yes,
know that
exactly.
anything that we want in life does not
Mm,
come easily.
mm. Yes,
You've already got
exactly.
it in your head that, okay, I know
Mm,
what I'm about to do is breaking barriers and it's something that's not common for everybody because
yep.
they see this specific route. You already have that mindset. And it goes back to what I teach with upgraded mindsets. Your personal mindset has to be in alignment, ready to
Yeah.
endure the growth that comes from doing things your way. I
Mm.
absolutely love it. I'm so excited, like,
Thank you
because
so
it's
much,
just
Keisha.
so
That's
it's a
very appreciating.
it is.
It's basically giving more motivation.
Yes, you are such a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
Talking about like what it means to build a life that fits you, not the expectations, right? Because
Mm,
again, you're defying the societal term entrepreneur because you're still doing your full-time consulting and still
mm.
building over here, breaking those
Yeah.
expectations. I'd love to
Yes.
hear how you're like balancing like your goals with like the real life limits if you have any. Is there any restrictions that have attempted to stop you or things that you may be coming up on or have crossed that have limited you that you've had to come across? How have you balanced all of that?
Yes, Keisha, it's a really great question. And honestly speaking, I came with this question every second day. Like you're author, you're a speaker, you do this, and your mother. I'm a mother of three kids. So you're right, it's not easy. And anyone who tells you it is probably selling you something, but let me tell you that nobody prepares for you for it. When you decide to build something of your own, while the rest of world has already decided what your lane is supposed to be, the first thing that break is not your bank account, is your identity, because you grow up being told what success looks like. Get the degree, get the job, climb the ladder, check the boxes, and I did all of that. PhD, 20 years of work in AI, different councils I joined, consulting across a lot of organizations, write the book, everything, and volunteers as well. And I checked every single box. And then one day I looked at those boxes and realized that they are not even my boxes. These are what handed to me by society, by cultures, by family expectations, or I was just following the pendulum, or by a system that was never designed for a woman who looked like me, or every woman is different, to build, their own thing. So if you know, there was a one quote of Carl Jung that actually changed my life. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you call it fate. That hit me like a freight train, honestly, because I realized that so many of the barriers I was facing were not external. The real barriers were inside me. The invisible scripts running in the background telling me who I was allowed to be, how much I was allowed to be want, how big I can or was allowed to dream. And those scripts didn't come from nowhere. They came from the generations of conditioning, from being told that a woman should be grateful for what she has, from being told that wanting more impact, more wealth, more freedom is somehow selfish. And that's exactly why I wrote the Quantum Code of Wealth. It's not a feminist or kind of like a book. It's a kind of like a real code that determines your wealth is not in your business plan or your pricing strategy. It is in your nervous system. It is the belief that you inherited before you could even speak. So it's in the way like your body tightens up when you are about to raise your prices, right? It's the voice in your head that says, why do you think you are? Every time you step into the bigger room, right? One of the a man who survived the Holocaust, his name Viktor Frankl, said like between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space is our freedom and our power to choose our response. And that is what my book about, finding that space. And that's brought the balance when life throws something to you. So, and honestly, truth, I don't believe on balance. I don't have balance. I have choices. Every single day, I am choosing what gets my energy, what does not. And those choices come with real consequences. Like some nights I miss bedtime, some weeks I miss workouts, some months I'm so deep in consulting engagement that my venture don't much move, in the end. So, and the old me would have called probably that failure. The woman I am now, I call it season. If you remember, Oprah said, like, you become what you believe. And I had to fundamentally change what I believed was possible for one woman to carry, and everybody can do it. Because the world told me I had to pick to be consultant, to be entrepreneur, be a mother or the builder, be a scientist or the spiritual thinker. I said, no, I refuse to pick. But refusing to pick means you have to be willing to be misunderstood. Some people look at my life and think I'm a scatter. They don't understand that what looks like chaos from the outside is actually is very intentional architecture from the inside.
Oh my god, y'all. This it just fulfills me so much to hear what you say because for one, it all starts from inside. Whether
True,
you believe that you're capable is what how you're gonna make it happen. You've gotta believe,
true,
and I love that you touched on it's a everyday process. You can't think that you got it
true.
Monday and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday default to thinking that you don't, and then Saturday you miraculously find a way to say that you're capable and able again. It is a
Yeah.
everyday process. You are literally reconditioning your brain to think
Mm,
that you are able to do what it is that you want to do. That is me
true.
all day, every day. It is a mindset thing for me. That's where upgraded mindsets came from, y'all. Y'all know that. Like the mind is where everything begins. I am such a believer of that. I really want to talk about your book a little more. I want to talk about like how wealth is an internal architecture. It's not an external chase. And I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that because we do.
Mhm.
We spend time chasing things outside of us, and then we wonder why we are empty, unfulfilled. So I'd like for you to talk a little bit more about that.
Every restriction is actually an invitation, a invitation to get creative. And I work in AI, and one thing I wanted everybody to know, learn AI is the soul of our life because whatever we tell our brain, it happens. If you tell your brain, oh, I can do that, it will do it. If you tell your brain, it's so hard, I can't do it, you will never get it. So to get resourceful, you should learn AI. But one thing to remember, AI can never be creative. It's impossible. Creativity, intuition, come with human is a gift of human. Just use it. I will cover like how I discover myself. So to discover a part of yourself you didn't know that existed. Rumi said like the wound is the place where the light enters you, right? So every barrier I have hit, every wall, every moment I want to put it, wait to that time, those become the exact chapters of the books because the book is not something I invented in a library. Basically, I basically take it out from my own life, from my own breakdowns, from other people as well, from my research and from the darkness I have questioned everything. Nobody like says out loud this thing that we have been lied to about, about wealth. We have been told that wealth is something out there, something you chase, something you hustle for, something that exists in the bank account or revenue number or funding round or something like that. Or you spend your entire lives running toward the next client, to the next contract, to the next launch, to the next milestone, thinking that if we just run fast enough, wealth will finally catch us. But it doesn't work that way. And I know it doesn't because I'm the woman running on the full speed with, a lot of
Right.
working experience and running and running and still feeling like it wasn't enough. And one day I stopped and asked myself a dangerous question. What if wealth is not something I chase? What if it's something I built from the inside out? And that question changed everything for me because when I sat with it, I realized that wealth has an architecture. Just like we have a systems that we design for different things wherever you work, or for example, I design enterprise architecture systems I designed for my consulting clients, the system that had done millions of transactions, the scale, it doesn't break under pressure. Wealth, same way as a blueprint, it has a foundation. It has a long bearing walls. And most of us, honestly speaking, we are trying to build a skyscraper or foundation that is made of fears or sand, which is the sand is our
Right.
unexamined beliefs, our inherited fears coming from generations, or our unconscious patterns around money, worthiness, or what we think we deserve. Albert Einstein once said we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them, right?
Woo! Woo!
Yeah. And
Yes.
that the my book in one sentence, honestly.
Ooh, I love it.
Thank you. You cannot build external wealth with an internal architecture that was designed for survival, for simplicity, for playing small. It won't hold. You might make money for sure, but you won't build wealth. That's why you would say the people who win the lottery, they couldn't hold it for long enough because wealth is not just financial.
Yes.
Wealth is ability to create, sustain, and expand without your internal system crashing. Think about it like this way. Like, for example, I designed the technology system that are built for resilience. They don't just work when everything is perfect. They are built to withstand failure, to recover under pressure, to adapt when the things start changes. And that resilience engineering and the quantum code of wealth applies the exact same thinking to the human being. How do you build internal architecture that doesn't collapse when your contract fails through, or when an venture doesn't launch on time, when your kids get sick the same week your investor meeting is scheduled, like when life does what life does, right? So most of them my book tell you what to know, like what to do, change your strategy, fix your funnel, raise your prices, and those things matters. I am not dismissing the external gain, but here's what I have learned so far. Like, if you fix a strategy without fixing the system running underneath, you will keep hitting the same ceiling every time. Different business, same ceiling, different year, same ceiling, because the ceiling was never external. The ceiling was always internal. And James Allen wrote something about like over 100 years ago that still shakes me, that you are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. And that's not motivation, that's architecture. Your thoughts are literally the code that's building your reality. And if the code is corrupted, if it's running the scripts like money is hard to make, or people like me don't get
Right.
wealthy, or wanting more makes me greedy, then no business strategy in the world can override it. You have
Ooh.
to go into the source code and you have to find the bugs and you have to rewrite it. So, and that makes the quantum code different from
Ooh.
every other wealth book out there. I'm not giving you the affirmation. I'm not telling you visualize a chat. I'm saying sit down, get honest, look at your internal architecture that's actually running your financial life. Where did it come from? Who installed it? And is it serving the woman you are becoming or the woman you were told to? So that's the real truth about my book.
Well, listen, y'all, y'all definitely gonna want to get that book after this. I'm telling you right now, because I cannot wait to read it. Like it just solidifies and confirms everything that I already believe. And even someone that has been doing this for, almost 6 years, there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with continuously getting the confirmation that you are on the path
Yes.
of where you're supposed to be going. I absolutely love it. Like, you have just confirmed so many things for me today, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you for just doing things without asking for permission. You are the epitome of building your own path without waiting for
Hmm.
permission, and I love that for you. I love it for me, and I love it for all women who will listen to this episode and say, "You know what? I just did not think that that was something that was possible." But as I listen to
Sure.
this, I absolutely know it is. So before we get
It
ready to wrap up, Sarah, I would love for you to just share some motivational words to the woman that is maybe interested in entrepreneurship, whether they may want to leave their job or may not. Someone that is, just kind of stuck, and
mhm.
someone, that just needs to maybe learn a little bit more about creating their own path. I'd love for you to share some insight on.
I have learned, that the path calls me This path that I'm in has cost me sleep, tears, relationship, version of myself that I had to let die, and I wouldn't trade a single second of it. Let me share what I wish someone has told me when I started. So the first thing I learned is that the path will break you open, and that's the point. We have been taught that success is supposed to feel like a straight line, like you get the goal, make the plan, execute the plan, celebrate. But that's not how it's worked, not
At
even
all.
close.
At all.
Yeah, you know that, right?
I do.
Yeah, the real path looked like chaos. It looked like 3 steps forward and 5 steps sideways, and 1 step into the wall you didn't see coming. And in every those moments, every part of you wants to quit. Every voice in your head say, "See, I told you this was not for you." And a lot of people in there as well to say that. But here's what I have learned: that voice is not yours. That voice belongs to every person, every system, every experience you told that told to you to play small. And yours only job as an entrepreneur is keep going anyway. Nelson Mandela said, and I love it, like, don't judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and I got back up again.
Hearing.
That I hold on to that, because on this path I have fallen more than I have stood, honestly speaking. And I have had consulting contracts and with no warning. I have poured money into ventures that were not ready. I have missed my daughter's school events because I was chasing a deadline that turned out to mean nothing. And I cried as well. So the weight of building everything alone felt unbearable. And every time I got back up. And that's a special thing. And it's not because I'm a special, not because I'm stronger than anyone else. No,
Right.
I'm same like as average person, but because the vision inside me was louder than the pain around me. And the second thing I learned out, then this one took me years, is that you have to grieve the woman you thought you were supposed
Oh,
to, you know, and nobody, a lot of people doesn't talk about this. When you step into entrepreneurship, when you decide to build something that's truly yours, you're not just starting a business, you are basically ending an identity. The identity of a good girl who follows the rules, the identity of the woman who play it safe, and the identity of that specific person who waits for permission. So letting that woman go, that grieves, the real grief, because she kept you safe for a long time. She got you the degrees, she got you the career and the respect, but she can't take you where you want to go, actually. And you have to love her enough to let her rest. There's a one Anand's names they wrote, like, and the day come when the risk to remain right in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom, right? And that's the exact moment I'm talking about. The moment where staying small hurts more than the fear of getting big. Every woman listening right now, if you're feeling that tension, that restlessness, that white rage that says, there has to be more. Trust that that's not dissatisfaction, that's the purpose is knocking. And I need every woman to hear that, like, you messes your message, every mess, everything you're ashamed of, everything you think is disqualifies you, everything you hide on your resume, your Instagram, your conversation, that's the very thing that make you powerful. I have a PhD. I still have moment of crippling self-doubt. I have a consolidated law organization, and I still have mornings where I don't know if I chef will ever go through the scaling or not. I wrote a book on the wealth, and I still have months where number doesn't work. And the longest time I thought I had to hide all of it. I thought being an entrepreneur meant performing confidence 24 hours a day. And there is a good quote like, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It is having a courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. And that's the entrepreneurship. That's the whole game. Showing up when you can't control a single thing. And I think I would say, like Steve Jobs says, like, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And I would say, like, the women who are crazy enough to think they can build their own world while raising the next generation, while working, while healing, while breaking every pattern their mothers couldn't break. Those women are just entrepreneurs. They are revolutionaries. And if you are listening right now and feel that fire in your chest, Don't you dare to let it go out. Don't you dare. Like the word needs what you're building, even if the word doesn't know it yet, but you still need to go ahead.
Absolutely. Powerful words to end our episode. I love it. Sarah, this has been an
Thank you
amazing,
so much.
amazing time. Like you have inspired me beyond measure today. I did not expect, but I'm glad that I
Thank you
did.
so much.
And I appreciate you so much. Please let them know where they can find you, website, socials, all that good stuff.
Sure. You can find me at my full name, Sarah Choudhary.com, Choudhary. It's my website. It has all the links, everything, Instagram, Facebook, my no, my non-profit, my organization, my VY Institute, my book upcoming, everything is over there. So feel free to check it out, and I will keep updating with the future as well. And yep, thank you so much, Keisha. I appreciated that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Listen, guys, if you took away anything from this episode, let us know in the comments, whether you are listening audio, whether you are listening on YouTube. And also share this with another woman entrepreneur, woman who is thinking about the business. These are the resources, the tips, the strategies, the insight that you need to build that inner confidence because, as Sarah said, it starts from within. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, make sure you have subscribed to the channel and the podcast. And until next time, guys.